One of the beautiful things about studying human design is when you start to connect the different pieces and putting them together. And I've been making some videos about my purpose or my unconscious earth, my grounding that's on my unconscious side. I feel so strongly that this is one thing that's so helpful if you study only one thing in your human design. And you know what? I probably should do a quick, let me show you where this is located. So if you have your human design, you want to know where I'm talking about. If you don't have it, you can send me an email. I will send you a free chart and everything. There's lots of resources online that you can get it as well too. And where it shows up is right here on your chart. I'm going to just get my handy dandy pen out. It's right here. It's the second number. And we're looking at the numbers before the point. So it's 22. The 2, the point 2, that's about a 2 line. So I have a 6 over here. I have a 2 over here. That makes me a 6-2. I'm a generator. I have emotional authority. But the thing that I'm really going to talk about today is this purpose, gate 22, my earth grounding. It's how I can really ground myself and use processes that help with this. One of the things that is key about the gate 22 is it's here in my emotional solar plexus. So I'm looking for grounding techniques that involve releasing emotion or expressing emotion. And so not all people have an earth grounding that's going to be in the emotional solar plexus. It might be somewhere else in your chart. Very much, there's a good chance it's not going to be in your emotional solar plexus. But so whatever this grounding is, it can help you with figuring out your unconscious way, the way that we're less likely to be aware of, and get the most bang for your buck. That's just why I really go into this. I never thought emotions were that important in my life. I thought I always had them controlled, and I think that was maybe the problem, is I was controlling them. And when I started leaning into this and nurturing them and observing them and not trying to manipulate them, just being there for them. And so much in my life has changed since I started doing this. So it's been about 1.5 years that I started really, truly studying my human design. But I was already doing this unconsciously a year prior. No, 2.5 years prior to studying my human design. So yeah, 2.5 years. Oh, it's been a while. So I was already doing it. And so by studying my human design, I started to see how the components came together so that I could do more of it. And so there's one thing that I specifically wanted to talk about today. And I'm going to go back because I've been doing a series of videos on this gate 22, because that's what mine is, to kind of be the example so you can see what you could do for yours. And actually, I want to go to a different spot on here. There's another thing that you can find out in your chart. And if you don't know what it is, reach out to me, send me an email. I will send you what your chart is, and I'll let you know what your gate is for your grounding earth. And I'll also tell you what's your environment. Mine is valleys. And so I'm connecting the parts of gate 22 with the valleys. And I think I even talk about, the valleys right there. So you'll see all the important things highlighted and what it means to have a gate 22 and be a valleys kind of person. So I'm going to read to you what I have on here. And just as a background, this is my personal report that I made for myself. So when I work with clients, when I don't really do readings, sometimes I talk about them as maps, because we pick a topic and everything in it becomes related to that specific thing. And I create them with them. So I always meet with them ahead of time and get a lot of input so that the report is really not, people don't want to just know what their human design is. They want to know what you can do with it. Because when I first started with human design, that's what I got. Oh, this is what this means. And I was like a nice little parlor game, like, oh, I totally see myself. This is so much fun. I didn't do anything with it afterwards. I didn't know what to do with it. So whenever I create them for people, we work together and we create, like, these are things for you to continue to keep coming back so you can self-coach yourself. It's something that's meant for more than one read. It's meant for multiple reads over a long course of time, maybe years. So this one's mine, and I've been going through it, and I just want to read this one part to you today in this video. I've been sharing a bunch of my parts on various videos. Okay, I'm going to stop talking, and I know that I'm a little bit amped up, so I'm just going to do a quick little somatic shake it out, right? Just I'm always waiting for that exhale. That exhale means I'm ready. Some people talk about how take a deep breath, and I don't. I'm like, what do we do until we like, that release. Okay, now I'm ready. All right, so gate 22 in the valleys. So this is really personal to me. This is my unconscious earth, my unconscious grounding, gate 22. It's in the emotional solar plexus, so it's about emotions. And I'm a valleys person, so that changes a lot of things. Where sound becomes soul food and silence becomes sacred. You're attuned to what feels right or not. This goes beyond vibes and energy. It's acoustics, tonality, mood. A single sound can open the gates of connection or shut them down completely. I'm going to tell you that shutting it down completely, there are certain sounds. Oftentimes they're not just higher pitch, but they're clanking kind of sounds, like a spoon hitting the side of a bowl. Oh, it just like, I automatically, perk up at that. But a child squealing a very high pitched sound doesn't bother me. So I've been learning. I've always known sounds bothered me. And I thought that I had auditory learning issues because I don't learn very well. I actually don't listen to very many podcasts. If there's a visual with it, then I'm in. Or if I'm driving, I can do it. So I have to be doing something. Walking, I can do them. But just sitting and just listening is a hard thing for me. And one of the things that I figured out is that because I am sound sensitive, I filter out a lot of things. And because I filter out a lot of things, it makes it harder for me to learn that way as a primary source of learning. So I either have to pair it with something, or I like reading, I like visuals. If I read it as well as listen to it, then I really take it in really well. So I've learned to figure out how I change the sounds, not just when I'm learning something, but what the acoustics are when I'm eating my food. Totally changes how much I eat. Just sound alone, just that environment, being aware of that. It also changes my whether I show up good or cranky. So it has a huge impact on me. And this is a part of my valleys on here. So, and there's different things. It's not just that it's valleys. Like this is another level for my valley. This is pretty amazing how you can start really fine-tuning things. So, like tuning forks, your emotions harmonize or clash with your environment. And that's another thing that I notice, like when I'm thinking about, do I want to work with somebody? Sometimes when I hear, I have this sense, I don't actually hear it, but I have this sense of like metal on metal grinding each other. And I get that. And I've tuned into that. And it's like, oh, there's something there. It may not be the person, but there's something about the timing or the interaction there. Maybe it's how I feel about myself. And maybe there's something within me that if it gets adjusted, then it's an okay to work with them. But I use that as a guide. It's something in this moment. They are not my client. And I listen to that because that clash. And it happens with environments too. It happens with a lot of different things. So you hear it and you absorb it. Like tuning forks, your emotions harmonize or clash with your environment. This is where your valley's environment reveals its magic. Valley's people thrive when their sensory environment is calibrated with care, especially sound. It's not that It's not about what's loud or quiet, but whether the frequencies are intimate, warm, nourishing. The texture of the sound while you eat, the rhythm of footsteps on a walk, the silence between sips of coffee. There aren't background details. They are sacred inputs for your nervous system. And when the acoustics are right, it doesn't just feel good. It helps regulate digestion, your emotions, your creativity. You digest your world through sound. Now pair that with your gate 22.2, the hermit line. So the gate is 22. The point 2 is a line 2, and that's often referred to as the hermit, somebody who goes away and does their thing and then comes back out and reveals it, and cycles between those two states. And gate 22 is about how do you have grace. That's the gift of it. Grace for yourself. Grace for yourself for having feelings. That's the way I think about it. This is I used to try to control my feelings so much. And so for me, gate 22 is about not grace for others. I could always have grace for others. That was never a problem. But not grace for myself. To allow myself the same space, the same things that I give to somebody else. And as you say these out loud, you think, well, that's just like all kind of common sense. We've all been kind of hearing it. But somehow studying it in my design and relating it to my emotions and how I ground myself and how sounds resonate with this and how in the valley and what I need, that little nook, that space for me to not feel disconnected, but to feel like it's my space and it's more intimate. Those are all things that help me to understand that common language. Well, you should treat yourself like how you treat other people. Like, that's just like some fancy line that goes on a card or, in a square that somebody puts on Instagram. It doesn't have connection to me. There's no strings attached. But when I see all of that same stuff come through human design in all these ways, all of a sudden it's real and it's felt and I sense it. I sense it within me and I'm able to give it to me. These are the things that made changes for me. So your grace flows when you're undisturbed. You need alone time, deep quiet spaces where the auditory clutter recedes and your true signal becomes audible again. The silence isn't empty. It's tuning you, grounding you, reconnecting you to the divine clarity that is your emotional wisdom. In the presence of too much noise, literal and metaphorical. Yeah, sometimes it's something that you actually do hear that other people in the same room hear. And then there's things that you get the sense of what that sound would be like and nobody else in the room hears it either. It's just something that you're kind of like thinking of, imagining. And I guess if that kind of makes sense, hopefully. You might find yourself emotionally dysregulated, eating more, feeling less satisfied, craving stimulation that never quite lands. That's a sign your valleys have flooded. And other ways that it shows up for me is I start snapping at people. I feel tense. I might get a headache. I just feel sour. If that's a feeling, that's how I would feel. It's just sour, and I kind of want to self-correct myself because I just don't want to be around people. Like, I just wish I was by myself. And that gives me the freedom to go and be by myself, but I don't have to think of it that way. I can, instead of having that like, I just want to be myself and I'm trying to correct myself, right? To find that space so that I can unflood my valley. Now that I know that, I'm starting to feel kind of sour, I wonder if there's a way that I could create just a little bit of moment for myself. And then I don't have to like actually completely repel the people around me. I can find this without saying something that I regret later on, or changing the tone of my voice and wishing I hadn't, or just giving everybody the dirty looks, that they're annoying me. It changes how I show up. So I recognize it and I can find and give myself grace and space for it without being I want to say a bitch, but just being an a-hole to everybody else, including myself. So that's your sign. Your valleys have flooded and you've lost your frequency. Yet you know how to find it again. A quiet walk, a gaze out the window, generating doodle birds. That's the moment your system exhales, when your grace returns. And I do. These are a couple things that I do. I look out my window. I have a bunch of lemon trees in the front yard. I just look at them. I like lemons, but I look at those trees and or sometimes I'm like, can I hear any birds outside? I can always hear birds outside. I have really good hearing. And so I'll listen, and then I'll just listen to them chirp for just a little bit. It doesn't matter what bird it is. For me, that's a soothing sound. And doodle birds. Well, hello. I like making doodle birds. I guess I like birds too, as much as I like trees. And so, just making a few of them, taking literally, it could take 30 seconds. And I do this. And I exhale. So this is just my example. Maybe you can find yours and think about studying your human design in this way, just to see what sparks, what comes up, and what you might be able to combine together for yourself. And if you need some help, just reach out. Like I said,